on the other back to stupid, right? That's what you do, right? When I start talking, just fade it on, and just let, yeah, just let. You start fading it on, just let it play. Okay. And good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of Inside Sports Talk Radio on this Monday. It is June 29th. Ain't no stopping us now. Congratulations to Liverpool FC after 30 years winning the Premier League title. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Basin.
Good afternoon, Mr. Rollins. I am so glad this is over and done with now. You guys are celebrating. You've still got a few games to go.
Yep.
And the good thing is, over the weekend, the Manchester City coach has indicated that there will be a guard of honor for the Liverpool team on Thursday prior to their match. So it will carry on for a little while, but obviously now it's how do you manage the rest of the season knowing that the off season is going to be that much shorter.
Celebration. But you have to stay focused. Right. So let's take one step at a time. Yes, we're back to drawing board starting on Thursday. There are more things that we have to go after, meaning that we want to set a racket, most points and things of that sort. So, yeah, we won the league. Now hopefully we can take care of business on Thursday against Man City and every other game because there's 7 games remaining. So that's how we want to look at it, right? 30 years is a long time. I'm not going to lie, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember you were in 1990?
No.
I do, because I was in Atlanta, Georgia, graduated from university, right? And I never forget, Liverpool won the league. I was in Atlanta, Georgia. I never forget that. Cool, perfect. 30 years later, I'm here. ZBM. Liverpool won the league 30 years later. But it was worth it.
Yeah.
It was worth it, right? It was worth it.
But how many trophies did you win in between that?
I can tell you the last 13 months we won 4. Right? The last 13 months. Champions League we won 2008. 2005, sorry. And then there's the FA Cup here and various other trophies there. We've lost a few in the finals as well.
Right.
So I take that as well. And then, of course, a great slip by Gerrard.
Yeah.
Chelsea in 2012, 13, I think it was. Can't remember the year. And so, with all that said and done, hey, 30 years, it's worth it. And I'm happy. So, all to the glory to all the Liverpool supporters in Bermuda and throughout the world. Congratulations to Liverpool FC and the Jurgen Club.
There you go.
Here we go.
Okay, all you Manchester United fans, it's over. He's got it off his chest. The Arsenal fans, he's got it off his chest now. So now we can move forward and
But you saw for yourself, you witnessed it. There was a Man United fan, not calling names, came into the studio and said there was Liverpoolians. It took him 40 years.
Yes, he did.
He said 40 years. Yeah, and I said mathematically 1990 to 2020 is 30.
Yeah,
he said after 10 they lose count.
Okay, and they're on 7.
They're on 7. They haven't won the league in 7 years.
Yeah, one thing's for sure, people always remember when you make a statement, and you have to remember the statement you made.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so.
I'm going to put it in his diary. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send the email. I'm going to send a text. Do it all. But no, all friend said 30 years. It's worth it.
Do you think you could repeat?
We have to make a couple of changes. You also realize that the type of football that Liverpool plays, pressing football, those midfielders have been playing that for 3 years, the last 3 years on the clock, right?
Right.
So your legs can start to catch up on you. And so I think we need to energize the midfield, another defender, and another forward. So there's 3 positions, honestly. Practicing football takes a lot out of you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fitness, right? Mentally and physically. So it's no joke when you're playing practicing football. It's there.
Yeah.
It's there to take.
Yeah.
So good. So let's let our listeners know that you can always give us a call at 292-9595. Anything you can discuss. Talk about football. Talk about any sport going forward. Talk about Liverpool. Never walk alone. All right. our listeners know that our guest today is Craig Till, National Sports Center. He will give us an update on how things are progressing now that the NFC has opened up. He will come on at 1:30. Kamal Evans will give us an update on the Netball Association. They got the ATM coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll discuss that. Of course, Dave Wolf, Fit for Life, is back up and running and getting people back on track with fitness into his class today. Cycled in from Southampton.
Oh.
And did better than I did 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
It was great. So it was good. No, it was last week, Evan, right?
Last week, yes.
Last week. So it was better than last week. It's getting into the rhythm again and doing it right. Also, we have Rick Richardson, who will discuss, as you know, the football competition that Sean Goodler, Nicky Wells, and himself, and Kyle Osborne have put together a program, competition skills program, lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll be discussing that, and that will air ZBM tomorrow night at 8 p.m. on ZBM TV9. And missed it tomorrow night will be a broadcast on Thursday night again at 8 p.m. ZBM TV9. And Sienna Barton, jump rope, she'll be discussing events for the summer.
Right.
So that's it. There were some events happening on Saturday from the BFA.
Yeah, they handed out their league trophies for the divisions from the 2019-2020 season. The Premier Division title went to the North Village Rams. The First Division was shared between St. George's Colts and Devonshire Colts. The under 13s, I want to get this right, that went to Warwick Archers. The under 15s went to the Onions team. Oh, I'm sorry, ABC. ABC. And the under 17s went to PHC. So they've concluded that part of their season, and I know they're looking to have the individual awards ceremony closer to the restart of the season. So those awards, once finalized, will be handed out, announced, and then handed out to the individual players and or teams that fall into whatever category. So, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. But that said, as you know, BCB have rolled out their platform saying that cricket will be resuming next month.
Yeah. Next month.
Yeah. Next month, July. That said, T20 format, correct?
Pretty much T20. Right. Yeah. 3 games at a field per day. They're only utilizing 4 fields for the season. That was indicated in the press release, which is St. George's, St. David's, Whitehill, and Somerset. And
is it Rangers?
No, just those 4 fields.
St. George's, St. David's, Whitehill,
and Somerset.
Oh, they in Somerset. Okay.
Yeah,
that's right.
And they'll go from that. And they're just finalizing a schedule, and that would hopefully be released this week. And we get going next weekend. So once I think people are comfortable in getting cricket up and running, I think a lot of other sports will feel the relaxation of getting themselves back into action. This weekend they had the finals of the Bermuda Amateur Stroke Play Championships at Port Royal. Mm-hmm. That was a 3-day event. The COVID tennis tournament got underway yesterday at Fairmont, Southampton. Flag football has started. So it's we're starting to see things get back into some sort of motion. And the thing is, now it's summertime, so a lot of sports take a break in the summer as opposed to in the winter. So we wait to see how things will materialize. Obviously, we'll keep an eye on sports like basketball and field hockey and ball hockey and the like, and of course rugby's a winter sport. So we'll see how it goes. So, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, very interesting. So hopefully things will start to roll out regarding local aspect of sports.
Yes.
And we see once cricket puts their schedule together, how they're going to mandate it and put things in place. Is there a lot of things regarding the maintenance of it, of keeping the health and safety aspects in place?
Yeah, I mean, if we look at it, a lot of the national sports, or a lot of the sports, have been governed by their bodies, by giving them instructions on how they would like to see their sport operated. And of course, through the health department in Bermuda, all that's been discussed. So it's just a matter of going through the motions of making sure that some of those things, if not all of them, are actually completed throughout the events that take place. So, the we saw the even when English football started, because we saw Germany first start, and they were talking about there will be no celebrations. Well,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's difficult. That was yeah. When they said that, I was like,
Yeah,
that's kind of hard.
it's almost impossible because you're going in a tackle, and the same guy that's been tested in the same locker room as you can't celebrate with him, after.
Right.
Yeah. So, those things had to be relaxed in order for things to go on, because what are you going to do, give yellow cards? The games will end after about 10 minutes, so, the same thing's going to happen with cricket, once they get started. We saw the Vince T10 um, guys are celebrating wickets. It's natural. It's a human thing. It's competition.
Yeah.
So that
And
in
it's
that
passion that
regard,
the
yeah,
athletes have for it.
in
That's why
that
they play the
regard,
sport.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be kind of tough to talk about what you can and can't do on the field, with some restrictions. Obviously, the no saliva on the ball is going to be an issue, because some guys do it naturally and normally. They're not even going to think about it. They're just going to do it, and somebody's going to have to keep reminding them,
Yeah.
over and over and over. And I'm pretty sure in the test match that starts July 8th between England and West Indies,
Yeah.
I guarantee you on day 3, when the fatigue is hitting and kicked in, a guy's gonna,
Yeah.
because that's what you
natural.
normally do,
Yeah.
and without thinking about it, you're gonna do it. You're literally gonna do
And
it.
you do it obviously to get assistance.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And that was a part of the game.
right,
It was allowed, so you
yeah,
get there and get assistance. And so that's something that's going to be very challenging,
yeah,
especially being under the sun all day,
right,
and whoever's feeling.
yeah,
And if you're unable to capture any wickets, this is what you have to go up against.
yeah.
That's going to be some hard times. Just real quick back with cricket resuming here in Bermuda next month. Fitness. I mean, the athletes are going to be like, that's going to be hard.
Um, yes and no. Some guys will take it a little more serious than others, and get themselves into some shape, and others will just some guys might just want to have fun. Might just want to play and enjoy themselves, and that will be the challenge, um, for coaches and so forth. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, let's take our first commercial break of the day, and we will come back with Craig Joe of the National Sports Center. Gives update on how things are progressing on that side of the national stadium. We'll be back after this. And welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. On the phone with us right now is Craig Tyrrell. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Tyrrell.
How are you today?
I am fine, mate. All is well with you?
Yes, all is well with me.
Good. Last time we spoke, things weren't looking good for Bermuda regarding, obviously, the National Sports Center and due to COVID-19. But things are looking up and up. The cricket resuming next month, which is good. Which Earl mentioned that will lead into other pathways for sports in Bermuda. We have tennis with Mendes.
Tennis management.
Tennis management up and running. And now with you opening up the National Sports Center, just give us an update where we stand with that.
Sure, absolutely. Well, first of all, I just want to get this out of here. Congratulations to Liverpool. Just want to get that out so you can, get back at me on that. But with regards to the National Sports Center, I can tell you that we are excited that we open back up on Tuesday, June the 16th, right after the holiday. And since then, we've had a couple of organizations come back to the facility to start back up. Those including KTAC, as well as the Hockey Academy. We've also had some swim groups like Harbor come back, and some of the ladies, sorry, not ladies, but the water aerobics classes. Unfortunately, they are mostly filled by ladies. And then we also have our members that have come back to the pool and track as well. But we're still looking to get some more activity here, larger groups coming back. But I guess that will take some time.
With that said, what's the procedure, the health process going forward in something like this, Greg?
I'm sorry, say it one more time.
What is the process for health due to COVID-19? What procedures are in place for the athletes?
Sure. So basically, we're pretty much the same as everywhere else. We want to make sure that people who are sick or not feeling well do not come to the facility. Those that have recently been sick take time to come back. Each organization is responsible for their individual athletes to ensure that they follow their protocols that they have provided us. And obviously, each one has a kind of a long list, some more detailed than others, depending on the sport that they're playing. But basically, the facility itself is set up in such a way that anyone coming through the members area have to get, at this current time, have to get their temperatures checked. If your temperature is too high, you will be denied entry. And the same, we encourage the 6 feet physical distancing. This obviously has had an impact on our gym use because we have a small gym, and so instead of having how much to show up to use it, any member that's looking to use the gym actually has to call ahead of time to book a scheduled time slot to make sure that we are not getting over capacity in the gymnasium. And of course, we have signs and everything posted for people to recognize that they have to, sanitize equipment and that sort of stuff before and after they use it. Unfortunately, because of all of these restrictions, we do not have any of our showers available, and so people have to come dressed to take part in their activity and then leave right after. As things, I guess, evolve and change, we look to make those changes.
Does Phase 4 allow for any other changes for the stadium use?
I would suspect that the only thing that really changes is an increase in size of the number of people that can be engaging in various activities.
With that said, obviously the North Field is one that a lot of people use because it's free to do a lot of exercising and so forth. Through the gate, how many people are allowed access to that North Field come Wednesday?
Well, actually, how the North Field is set up, to your point, it's a 600-meter track, and we do not have any restrictions on the amount of people that come up. Like we don't have security counting people to come up and walk the track. All we do ask is that those people that are using the facility do their best to keep their physical distancing. We have had I guess, it's always been not an issue of large numbers here. And so, we didn't think that would be a big issue for us to have to try to control.
What's the response been like, Greg? Have you had a chance to talk to some of the athletes, some of the organizations?
Yeah. Of course, some that haven't come back are waiting for, I guess, um, more freedom to move. For example, the Bermuda Hockey Federation obviously is a bit of a contact sport, and they are finding it difficult, or the players may find it difficult to kind of play, not be able to have contact, and so they're basically not coming here until we kind of there's things that open up for them to do. And then some of the other sports, like say the aquatic center, obviously because we're restricting numbers of people that can come in, we've had to make some adjustments, or some of the stuff have had to make adjustments as to what age groups of kids they will have their training.
Mm. Going forward, just pushing down to the fall season. I mean, you have a lot of activity usually at the National Sports Center, various fall sports. Can we see things resuming by then on the normalcy for the National Sports Center?
Well, normalcy is I guess, a subjective word right now. We will be sending out our messages to our user groups who normally at this time would be sending in their requests for scheduling for the fall and winter season. I guess it all depends on the government stance and the government guidelines as to what manner and how we can kind of do things, as to how that will roll out. But for now, we keep our fingers crossed that we're moving in the right direction.
Craig, we see sports coming back, not necessarily contact sports, but there will be some contact, of course. Um, when do you see the stadium giving permission to organizations to have uh, sports that actually have physical contact?
That's a really good question, Earl. That's $1 million question. I think we all want the answer to. There was supposed to be a meeting scheduled. I think it was today, as a matter of fact. I think it's been postponed by the Minister of National Security for um, uh, event promoters who promote large scale events, and I would assume that would include sporting events. And so that unfortunately that meeting was postponed, but once that happens, I think we will have a much clearer picture as to where we are going forward.
With that said, I'm sure you're pleased with the results what you have right now, meaning, may I say, results that some teams, some organizations have taken the opportunity to resume their programs, and it seems like things are falling into place for you. So that's a plus for the National Sports Center.
Yeah, it's great to have activity. Face buzzing. Obviously, while we were shut down, it gave us a little bit of time to do some maintenance around the site, some painting, some freshen up with fields and whatnot. So everything's in really good condition. So when the teams do come back, they should be pleasantly surprised with the facility.
Is there anything you'd like to add that we did not ask?
Yeah, one of the biggest things for the National Sports Center, and I think the public really has to understand, is that the National Sports Center is not a playground. National Sports Center is not a park. It's actually a facility where people come to, get their exercise in and promote, healthy living and all that sort of stuff. Unfortunately, we have a lot of people that come here with their animals, and they can have their dogs and walk them and that sort of stuff. We have signs posted all around the facility, and no matter how many times we bring this up, people always seem surprised when we tell them that the facility is not supposed to have any animals on it, even though the signs are posted when they drive in and when they walk through the field. And so we were constantly pushing to get people to recognize that please don't leave your dogs in your car, just don't bring them because we unfortunately have to have conversations with people on a regular basis. They say, oh, my dog's in the car, he might have to come out and we even felt like, but that's one of the reasons why we say no dogs on the site. So, that's one thing that we're trying to push on a regular basis. Is to please leave the dogs at home. Please leave the animals at home. No animals allowed.
And I'm sure, is it because of the design of the National Sports Center being open, transparent, meaning that yes, you let everyone come in and do it, but to bring in an animal, I've never heard of it at the National Sports Center in my lifetime.
It's out of hand. Trust me.
Oh,
It's out of
our
hand.
saying is out of hand. Your saying
It's
is
out
out
of
of
hand.
hand. I mean, that's kind of like You got signs up and it says it. No animals, and people still doing it. And I'm trying to figure out why. Why they trying to do that?
You know what? That's a really good question. Really good question, guys. But I have no idea why people feel the need to bring animals. Some say, look, I'm just coming to pick up my kids. So, I have dogs in the car. But then they take the dog out and walk them to the gate and saying, hey, that's the sign that says no animals. And so we're just trying to get people to recognize that if they're coming to the NSC, just please leave your animals at home.
Whether they be two-legged or not.
Okay, got you, mate. Well, thanks very much for that update, Greg. I appreciate that, and we wish you all the best for the rest of the summer, and hopefully into the fall season we get more sports back up and running and use the facilities at the National Sports Center.
Absolutely, we're looking forward to it, and thanks again for the opportunity.
Not a problem. Enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you for congratulating Liverpool. We'll see you next season.
Yeah, no problem. Take it easy.
All right, mate. Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that animals were. I mean, I knew they were not allowed to see them. Right. People bringing them to the stadium.
Man, sure. They. A lot of people have dogs that they consider part of their family, and they feel as if that they take them everywhere they go, and Craig has a point where somebody would come to pick up a loved one from training or from whatever competing or, but then they feel the need. No, the dog could relieve itself right here, and basically it's not even supposed to come through the gate. So if anything, you're gonna have to think and think and think, because if you start letting one, then it's an open house, and then I mean, there are so many places you can take and walk your dog. If your dog's just out for a drive, go out for a drive. But the rules at the National Sports Center is that no dogs are allowed through the gate.
Wow.
So simple as that.
Simple. So people start adhering to it because it makes no sense. Just makes sense. You got to think of the other people.
Yeah.
People that are training. Imagine someone's running, right, or swimming, whatever, and then all of a sudden a dog just comes out of nowhere.
What's the one thing everybody says? He don't bite. No, he don't bite you because you feed it.
Right. You train it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You don't bite.
You're not sure what that dog's gonna do to someone else. You're not sure if that dog's gonna be startled and then turn around and attack. And you can never say, "Oh, I know," because you'd never know. You're not that. You don't think for that dog.
Well, again, we wish NSC all the best going forward, and hopefully get things back up and running. Because it's definitely, it's our stadium where we put on all our sports, and we utilize it for various events. Yeah. And we're starting to pick up in the last couple of years, swimming to various other sports, you name it, track and field, and so forth, walking, and so forth. About your dog. Yes. Exercising. So, yeah, interesting. Yeah. Let's take a commercial break, and we'll be back after this. And welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. We're just working on our next guest, Evans, president of the Bermuda Netball Association, give us an update on how things are transpiring with them, and of course the AGM that this having. Is it later this month or this week? Is it?
Is it this week?
I think it's this week. I could be wrong. It could be either this week or next month. Next month. Next week. Sorry. So she'll give us an update. Yeah. It's interesting how time has changed, right? And just switch up a bit. If this COVID-19, use this time of the year, we're talking about Eastern counties.
Yes, yeah.
We're talking about Western counties.
Well, we're still talking about them. We're just talking about them
in a different manner. In a different manner, right? So it's like, all roads lead to Somerset. I'll be talking my smack about Somerset as this team. And you're talking about St. George as this team. And then you come back and say, well, we took you 20 years to get the cup back. I'm like, that's true. That's true.
Like, well, and it's funny how things work out, because a lot of people talk about how Liverpool haven't won the Premier League.
Yeah.
And this is the first time in 30 years and so forth and so forth. But it's funny how cup matches just the two teams, and the long time that even now people from Somerset talk as if they've had it forever. You know what I mean? And when St. George's was holding the trophy, we talked about it like we had it forever, and not looking at the fact that hey, this goes wrong in the cycle. You know what I mean? And then we'll get to that point where it would change hands back to back in a few years, and then another team will become dominant again, and then it's held on for a little while, and then we go. It just goes around and around and around.
Everybody has a turn. Yeah, everyone has it, and that's the joy of sports.
Yeah,
because as you know full well, you can't stay on top all the time.
No.
You just can't.
Several things happen. Complacency.
Yeah, that's
and the other team becomes very determined.
Yeah.
And if you get, and especially in Bermuda sports, you get three guys that are determined in a game, and things start getting their way, pretty much they can dominate and take over a game. Where in professional sports, you probably need no more than three guys to do it. But in Bermuda, if you can get three guys working together, it could work. That you could then become, for that one game, you can actually dethrone the champions and end up becoming champions yourself. So,
true.
Especially like an FA Cup final, like Eastern County, Western County, any cup match that is a one-off thing, you'd be surprised. Yeah.
Anything's possible.
Yeah.
Cool. On the phone with us now is the president of the Bermuda Netball Association, Kamal Evans. Good afternoon to you, ma'am. And how are you doing today? Pretty good. You're feeling good. Your team won. Congratulations on your team, Liverpool.
Congratulations on your team, Liverpool, Ian says.
And how you?
The varsity graduation was happening via Zoom, and we had a little surprise viewing for my godson. So been kind of busy doing that this morning, but that's just a continuation of the celebrations of Liverpool. We can just continue to just celebrate as long as we choose
to. You should see your all's reaction right now.
I don't have no reaction, because I mean, what has been done. Congratulations to everybody, and well deserved. I asked Ian a question: will you repeat? And I got some other answers. I didn't get a yes. I didn't get a no.
I said there would be changes. I said we have to improve in 3 areas. I said midfield, forward, and defender.
But I asked you if you will repeat.
Okay, so I'll answer for you now. If you make some amendments, right, some reinforcement, I think yes, we could defend the title.
Okay, I'm getting closer to an answer.
That's your answer. I said yes, we can defend the title. I said it.
Okay, all right.
There you go.
All right.
Yes, we definitely can defend the title. He didn't ask you if you're winning. He just said, "Are we going to defend it?" And you can do the best you
can. I'm cracking up for your answer, right? Just a true.
Thank you very much, Mel, for the straightforward answer. Sometimes it's all one's looking for, straightforward.
Well, I knew he was looking straightforward, but I was being diplomatic on the technical side of saying yes, we can defend it, but I want some reinforcements so we can win it too. All right, yes, we can defend it. We can defend it, but I need some reinforcement to win it. All right. You guys are funny. So with that said, Earl and I were discussing the AGM. Is it this week with Netball Association, or is it next week?
It is the 18th.
18th of July.
18th of July. Okay, I
Yeah.
couldn't hear. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So explain to us about the upcoming AGM that's in your organization.
Well, obviously, we've had to make some amendments due to COVID. So we are in the process of hosting virtual for those of our affiliates, and obviously with us, the membership, we'll do our best to be in one location, and those that are up for positions, which is our council positions, can hopefully find a location where we can make sure that we're socially distancing while still trying to be active in the process. So, that is the plan. We are in the final preparations to make sure that, it goes off without a hitch. And, we're just looking forward to a good start for hopefully for next season.
With with that said, then you're looking at host the AGM on the 18th of July, and then going forward to put a new schedule in place for the upcoming season.
Yeah. So basically, that has already begun. We are in the process of trying to make sure that we have all the necessary procedures being followed. And I'm sorry, not somebody, I apologize. The 18th is the 16th. It's a Thursday, sorry, not the 18th, which is the Saturday. It's the 16th. But basically, we're looking to put that in place, and all sporting bodies, the government sporting bodies have to present their plans to the Sport and Recreation and for approval prior to start. So we are finalizing that document to send off to them in hopes of them being able to meet all the requirements that they have set in place to put forward a good season, a good 2021 season.
This season obviously was hindered because of COVID-19. What's it been like for you and your organization as you've been going through this trial and error? I call it the last 3-4 months, and now you got an AGM. But prior to the AGM, how are you able to put things in place and share the information to the athletes, to the various clubs, and trying to put things in place, saying hopefully we have this schedule, hopefully we have this, hopefully we have that, but obviously it never happened. And now you got the AGM.
Yeah, well, I mean, one good thing for us is that we were at the end of our regular season. So, with netball, it's obviously a winter sport, so our timing was pretty good in with our senior league being finished, and we only had one or two matches for the juniors. However, it would have been mathematically impossible for anyone to catch the winners in second place. So basically, we were able to end that season without a hitch. For us, it's just making sure that we are meeting all the guidelines going forward, and presenting our membership with a forward-thinking plan that just doesn't say this is what we're looking to do set in stone, but obviously with alternative options. Because with this COVID, everything is changing. It changes on a daily basis. So we're just preparing as best we can to ensure that we are presenting ourselves as an organized organization, really.
With basically one venue for netball, correct?
Yeah, cool. Yeah, it is. It is. We have the Bernard Park. So obviously we are looking at other venues because all our matches get played on a Saturday.
Right.
So that's the hiccup. It's, to kind of let it out, we have to be creative. We have to be creative thinkers, and we have to have creative persons that are looking to receive what we are looking to present. And it may, as far as I'm concerned, work more so in our favor as far as having some matches throughout the week on evenings and alternative days throughout the evening because we also utilize that venue for training purposes as well. So there are a lot of moving pieces right now, and we just continue to just try to ensure that we have all our ducks in a row before we fully present everything. But you guys will be one of the first things.
Kamal, recently the Caribbean Netball Association held their AGM. What exciting things can we look forward to coming out of that meeting that everybody's not in the same room but able to be online and share ideas and share thoughts? What can everyone in the netball community look forward to in the coming years following that general election?
Well, one major thing that was brought to light, and I must say was brought to light by Bermuda, is that it's very hard for us because we have the ACNA, which is the American Federation of Netball, and then we have CNA, which is the Caribbean Netball Association. And Bermuda is a part of both of them. Um, However, we have countries like the United States and Canada that are not a part of the CNA organization. Bermuda is just unique in that way, where we tend to be included in most um, organizations, whether it be CNA, whether it be your, we have the benefit of being invited to the venues to participate. So one of the major things is that with COVID, it has kind of put a dampener on the matches that could be played for world ranking. So what they're looking to do is CNA has a tournament that's usually hosted by the OEC members, which is a bank that is in the Caribbean. And any Caribbean island that is a part that has a bank of that sort is they host this tournament that goes towards ranking. And it's been a hot topic because, that if we don't, obviously in Bermuda, we do not have that bank. So they're looking at options to try and include Bermuda so that we can all benefit from playing some ranking matches as far as our seniors are concerned. There were only two positions that were up, and it was for the first vice president and second vice president, which was filled with all the hitch. Basically, their it states that the person that doesn't win off the first automatically takes the second, so that was perfectly fine. But like I said, the biggest talking subject was more on what are we going to do to make sure that everyone within the region is playing sufficient amounts of matches so that we can maintain our world ranking.
Have they come back to try to figure out or have more talks with you guys regarding that? Because you have some sort of idea of how it can work, but they need to make sure that you're included in the conversation. So have those conversations actually started or even emails?
Yeah, those conversations have most definitely started. We have had emails. I continue to advocate for Bermuda in reference to that, and also ACNA, which oversees everyone in this particular region, has gotten involved, and it's also presenting to incorporate and to encourage countries like Bermuda and us to be a part of it. Uh, we need to be a part of it. IFNA, sorry, which is International Netball Federation, is it's basically revising their criteria as far as rankings. Before it was you had to play a total of 8 matches in a 2-year span in order to maintain a level of world ranking. They've revised that now to play 6 matches over the next 3-year period. It's trying, they're doing their best to gear everyone to be in a position to play some matches. Obviously, for us, we'd have to give consideration to potentially what that might be or what it might look like. We would need the borders to be open and things like that. We don't have the advantages like a lot of the other Caribbean islands. Like they can go via a ship and just island hop and they have so many other options. And in Europe, you have where they can probably go by train or go by bus and be able to be a part of it. So for us, geographically, where we are located, that is the most challenging area that we face.
So then, from an international perspective, you wouldn't know anything within the next few months because of what's happening now. And then from the local perspective, trying to put that program together to put a program together to do domestic netball, and then put a national team together. So it's going to take some time for you.
It certainly is. It certainly is. One of the benefits that we've had is that we've had a lot of our under 21 players during COVID. They still had to maintain training regime. They had to submit their training workout videos and things like that. So we've had a bunch of girls that have continuously been training. We're also in the process of rolling out our new national program requirements and policies and procedures. So, during COVID, there's been quite a lot happening. I also was I've also been given the position of the ACNA region informational leader, as far as trying to look at ways for us to build funding and things like that. There's one country that is represented each region, and Bermuda was selected by ACNA out of everyone else as the leader to try and put this together to assist all the other countries. So that's a little feather in our hat. We're obviously doing something right that we would have even been considered for that particular position.
Well done. Well done. What is your vision going forward? I've actually previously, but this is a little different, right? Because of what we've all been going through regarding the pandemic and the COVID-19. What's the vision for Netball, I should say, going forward within the next 6 months, 6 to 8 months?
Well, in the next 6 to 8 months, I mean, obviously, it's a lot of more strategic policies and things that are going to have to be put in place and followed, which is, if I'm quite honest, which is going to work hugely to our advantage because we've been doing it bit by bit, but COVID is actually forcing us to do it one time, and it's going to force our affiliates to be adjusted to realize that this is what has to happen one time. So it's actually helping us because, in Bermuda, we tend to be a little bit hesitant for change. And with this COVID thing, it's forced us to be a little bit more accepting of change. So for us, I just want to and I should say for us, it's the Bermuda National Organization, and for me, it's to don't be afraid to push forward through change. It's hard. It's hard for everyone. But I think that together we can definitely push forward through this.
Okay, all right. Any particulars you're looking to share with us right now regarding the AGM coming up on the 16th?
Well, currently, basically, this is the year our council members' positions are up. I'm happy to report that we have some members that will be staying on as well as we have new members interested, which is always amazing. We want new people. We want to have a council that represents just about everyone that is actively involved in that goal. So for us, I think that we can only go forward from here. We have the personnel in place and the tools in place that is going to be doing us justice. We also have been awarded intern, a summer intern through the Central Philanthropy. They had, I believe it was Chubb that is sponsoring persons that can work at organizations. So that should be able to help us and assist us in trying to ensure that, we're getting all the policies and procedures and things in place for us to move forward. So, I mean, for me, all I can say is that it's exciting time for us. It's really exciting time. Challenging time, yeah, but exciting time for what I believe, will be a good season during this 2021 season.
Before we wrap up, I just want to understand this again, and this is what you discussed earlier. Majority of your games were played on Saturdays at Deepen Park. Yes, you did mention that. Yes, you're going to have to now put some games in place during the week. So the schedule on a Saturday, I think you used to start like 8 in the morning and just go there to like 6 in the no one. Okay, it was one. And one, okay, 1 to 8. That's pretty much a long day. All right. What do you think it will be like on a Saturday once you make the amendments to the schedule uh, during the weekend and then on Saturdays?
Well, somebody think is actually considering alternative venues. There are other venues that can be available. And basically alternating between two is going to play where and when because right now as COVID, you have to ensure that all the policies and procedures are met. We don't want to be shut down. We want to be in compliance with everything that's required. So we are in the process of looking at other alternative venues and basically on the technical side of things, INF as well as AFNA and CNA, is there are multiple things that are being implemented as far as some adjustments, even in the way the game is going to be played going forward, potentially. So right now we play 7 aside. There might be consideration given to go more to a fast five effect, which is only going to be 5 people. There might be an amendment to distance because right now, you have to be like 3 feet. You might have to be farther away. So there are so many moving pieces that we really have to stay on top of. But ultimately, we are looking to try and spread out the venues as well as spread out the match schedule throughout the week to not impact just any one team or any one program. So it may be something similar to what you might see is if a few matches played, say this is the first week, we'll have matches played on Monday and matches played on Saturday, and the next week it might be matches played on Tuesday and played on Saturday. So we'll spread it out like that.
I've been watching a lot of the netball that has resumed in New Zealand, and obviously, I mean, they've gone on and returned to sports as normal.
Right.
Has there been any discussions about how they have returned to sort of normal action?
Yeah, well, basically, in the European side of things, it's all or nothing. I mean, they're doing that for everything. Everything has resumed as per normal, but we have to, like, we get the okay from our side, from our Bermuda government to ensure that this is what they want us to do. So a lot of it is basically trying to ensure that we're in compliance and following the guidelines that are set forth within our region. Um, whether that means all players have to be tested prior to starting. There are so many other things that we have to take into consideration. One thing that they never said, they never stated that all players were tested. What they stated is that if players are playing and they show symptoms, they will immediately have to be quarantined, as well as any members that might have had direct contact with them would have to be quarantined. So because we have a little bit of time, we're still here trying to ensure that we are meeting all the requirements as far as the international standard, which who sets the bar for everyone, and as well as us here locally in Bermuda.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you very much. And just one more question I have for you. Sorry. The venues. What particular venues you may be using going forward?
Well, we have definitely used Bermuda College on several occasions. We've used Summerfield. We've also had training sessions at Delwood. Those are some areas. One thing that I know that they're recommending right now is to do more outdoors. So previously we're trying to turn away from that and trying to go indoors to have the alternative practices. Right now they're actually pushing it more to do more outdoors in the open air. So yeah.
Okay, we understood. Well, I'm sure, like you said, you keep us up to date, and good luck with your AGM on the 16th of July. And we look forward to having your game back up and running in the fall.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us on Inside Sports Talk Radio. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. All right, we're going to take a commercial break and be back after this. And welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. It seems like Netball is heading in the right direction. Hopefully, get up and running soon.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's being as cautious as they have to be regarding the health and safety of all its members and following government rules. I just think by the time netball is ready to kick in September, I think we will see some form of relaxation of such the tight grip that we're seeing now.
Right.
Only because that's what sports is all about. It's about competing. It's about, rules were put in place for the protection of each sport,
yeah,
and safety of the players playing the sport. Netball has a 3 foot rule where, once I take possession of the ball, you must press back 3 feet. They're thinking of changing those things, but I think a lot of the stuff, once we get through some of the trying times and we start to see visitors on a regular basis and sports really getting back up into its normal phase of playing the sports, I think we should be all right come September.
I also think that when she mentioned that they may go from 7 to 5,
Right.
and I think
But
also the venues will help as
yeah,
well.
well, there's a lot of talk right now about the Fast Five. The Fast Five is a new format.
Right.
They have a tournament for it and so forth, and I think um, that is just another avenue that they can do. It becomes a little tougher when you're talking about um, a recreational type of, a lot of our sports are recreational.
Yeah.
Um, and the Fast Five is you got to be super fit.
There you go.
And even if you're not starting, to come on and be at a pace that's really really fast, because now 2 people aren't on the court, or 4 people are not on the court, because 2 from your team and 2 from the other.
Yep.
There's more space on the court, and it's going to be a lot more faster movement and a lot more, just so many different things that the average person may even walk away from the sport because they're not going to want to put the bodies through that. You know what I mean? A lot of these like to participate, want to be a part of a team, but the strenuous stuff that you're now going to ask a player to play on a weekly basis, because the fact they had a Fast Five tournament already, but that's a 1 weekend tournament, and yeah. So I think the enjoyment that they had in it, and I think if they kept putting those things in once a week, I mean once a year, I think people would get the enjoyment of it. You'll see a lot of the other players that are just in it to have some sort of exercise and still be part of the team. They will sit off. But if that's going to be the entire season, you might lose those players because they're not just. It's
Pace
not
of the
going to.
game
Yeah,
and things.
yeah, yeah.
But I tell you what, a person that can get him into great shape, if he's going to Fast Five, guy named Dave Wolf, fit for life.
Well, if Dave's going to play, then we invite Dave to play Fast Five and Netball, and then there's the ladies can show up Don fit for life and get a workout. What do you think, Dave?
I'll let Earl repeat that to me, Earl.
Well, Dave. Ian was talking about we were in a conversation about netball and Fast Five. It's a new format in netball where there's 5 players on each team on the court as opposed to 7, and the pace is a lot faster. And Ian was suggesting that anyone that wants to play Fast Five on a regular basis can go and work out at Fit for Life and get into some shape and so forth. But I turned around and said that, well, if Mr. Wolf goes down to Bernard Park and participates in netball, he may get a few more clients to come to Fit for Life to get ready for the Fast Five. What do you think?
Community involvement. I'm fine with that, man. And quick pace, that's me. I'm all about that, man. No problem.
That's for sure, right? That's for sure. Dave, you're back up and running, but we got the gyms back up and running. People are starting to get into the fitness. I've seen people out running, cycling, um, getting back to crossfitting, getting back to HIIT classes. What have you experienced over the last 2 weeks for yourself?
I think this so technically we're going into our third week because I think we started on it was June 17th. We had a partial week. But it's a third week. Yeah, definitely getting better. You've seen the numbers come up. I think people were waiting at the whole look and see approach, right? So as we go into the end of July, I've seen a definite upsurge in attendance. I think people are definitely taking it more serious now. They're all in the boat. Like we said last time, the looking at the girls where they may have fallen short of trying to readdress those skills. So it's been good, to be honest with you. It's been very good. Had a good class this morning, and been so far so good, man.
Dave, and you're a trainer. You see it every day, 7 days a week. What did you see from the first time on the 17th of June to what you see now? What I mean by that is, do you see the athlete or your client putting in the commitment, putting in the time, and saying, look, I need to get back to where I was 3, 4 months ago because of COVID-19?
Well, I think what people are doing is just kind of like have to be back. Obviously, what happened, this is probably the first time in a lot of people's lives, I would dare say, that they have been unable to train like they may have been used to, i.e., particularly with the lifting weights, right? So you're not doing weights for 3 months, and then you go back to a gym setting. You need to be very careful how you approach the weights. So I think people just been generally surprised and like how the body feels. When they're used to wearing it, the body's going into like a little shock, if you will.
Yeah, yeah. And you're absolutely right about that. It's kind of interesting. In the class this morning that Dave had, he put in a program, right? And it was very challenging. And it was a good challenge. But it wasn't like something that you over challenge yourself. It's like working your way back into it. And I just, was recapping with you earlier, like what it was for me the first time to where I am now. And his coaching and technique, you can see improvements within that short span of time. Again, you got to put in the time, though, to get it done. So I don't know how you do it, Dave. Like, you don't lose a beat.
Well, I mean, you know what? It's always easier when you're close to the finish line. You run the race and you stay close to the finish line. It's easy to get there. So for me, it's always been that mindset of no matter what, try to stay close to the finish line. A little bit easy for me as well because obviously when gym slows down, I could still get her, right? I could still take her in. Half the gym was in my car, the other half was in my storage room. So to be fair, I had an unfair advantage, if you will. But I think that's been the biggest thing. People backing in, hey, take your time getting back in, watch the weights, build up slowly, and slowly get back to where you used to be.
What's the advice or questions that the clients have asked you, Dave, as they now make their way back to fitness? This is the summertime, but we just want to stay in shape and then say, look, get my goals back on place. What sort of questions they put forth to you?
I mean, I've heard it all, right? I've heard it all. How can I get off the quarantine 50 in 2 weeks? How can I get back to performing well at my sport, whether it be tennis, whether it be, golf, whatever. So I've heard it all. I think my advice is just like get back to some consistency. So luckily, people, I think, have enough opportunities. There's a plethora of trainers, a plethora of gyms. You can seek out what works for you. I think we're doing pretty good in terms of number as it relates to COVID-19. And I think the gyms are doing a great job in terms of just operating differently, whether that be small group classes, limited the number of people. So I think people have enough opportunity to start setting those goals and knock them off one by one.
Dave, let me ask a question regarding the gyms. Have the gym owners kind of been talking about getting back their clients and so forth, kind of sharing information?
That did happen. I don't know how far it's been in terms of across the board. I can certainly confirm. I had conversations and in dialogue with people who were trying to figure out how we can get this thing together. As a matter of fact, Earl, I actually sent a letter in before we were allowed to open, just to express, I guess you can say, my concerns, my questions about how it's going to happen. I think what's interesting though is that every gym or all gyms aren't the same. So you think of a gym, okay, yeah, we train people, but the operating system is different. So, i.e., some gyms have membership gyms, we're looking to get large numbers in. Mine is more of a boutique facility. So there are some small finer details, but yeah, there was definitely dialogue in terms of what we could do as a group collectively to get us up and running. But there's so much little details in terms of what we do and how we do it, who we're catering to, what size class we're looking for, and that kind of thing.
If you've been in case with you regarding gym size, you've been adamant that you have 10 per class. You've followed the procedures, and it seems as though your clients are following it as well with the health and safety procedures, and just going straight through. So it hasn't you haven't like lost a beat in that area. But I've been understanding or been told that people are trying to sign up with you, and you're sticking by the rules and regulations, which is good.
Well, we have to be
we have to be smart, right? You know, we're not completely in the clear as a country yet. So I think smaller numbers just allows us a bit more separation in the room. It's a nice size room, as you know, but still you want to be doing your due diligence, certainly taking all the necessary sanitization protocols, and you got to be smart. Yeah? So sometimes it's not all about the dollar. It's not all about getting the money. It's about being smart and thinking long term.
Definitely. Now, Dave, you're cycling in mornings or cycling in afternoons. What's it been like to combine a cycling class, a cycling train into the gym, workout, then cycle back? What's that like?
It's been good. It's been very good. I actually like it. I think I was telling somebody this morning. I've had a bike. I've had a pedal bike for 10 years, and I never really got into it. Never got into cycling. Um, as they say, I get used to saddle, right? I didn't stay in saddle long enough to get used to it. I think now because I'm forced to cycle because I can't run like I would like to, I found a newfound appreciation. I dare say maybe even a little bit of love for cycling. So I've been doing quite a bit, about 3 or 4 times a week. We said that good the next few months. But yeah, I definitely enjoy it. Cycling in, and also enjoying cycling back in Detroit.
Well, I know someone else has been doing similar on the saddle of paddling. You probably have a little 2-man race sometime soon.
So I'm always down for the challenge. I'm always up for a race. You don't have to tell me twice. So just say where, what time, and what's on the line.
Well, Well, this fella likes to talk about his getting a Billy Goat heel, so I guess we could all start there. And he does Billy Goat on a Sunday, so it'll be a Sunday, and then you go from there. So you might pull away right away from the start. I don't know. I'm just
You're just saying.
Yeah.
You're just saying. Yeah.
I'm open to any suggestion. Put a little something on the line, make it a bit more interesting, and I'm there.
All right, you on, mate? We can do that. We can make it happen. I know he got to his class right from his house in 18 minutes. Right, so I need to get from my house to the class in 18 minutes. I don't know how or when, but I'm gonna try it.
Well, just recently they've come up with all these motor pedal bikes, so um, you can get on one of those.
But you know me, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna cheat. I'm gonna be competitive, just like Dave,
Well,
and I'm gonna cycle.
they call it mechanical doping.
That's a new one. I've heard that one before.
Yeah, well, they had there was a couple of years ago that they had these guys that were doing Tour de France and all these big name races actually had motors built in,
Oh yes.
and in their paddling, the motor will kick in and actually give you that extra speed.
Yeah.
And they just recently this weekend um, came back that they done 2 more bikes, but they came back negative. So there's still only one person who has been actually caught doing it.
Wow, these guys always find a way to cheat. Doping, beyond doping.
Doping and steroids now were super bikes up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
As I was saying, mechanical doping.
If you're stopping them, if you're catching them, taking it, ingesting it in the body, or blood doping and all that, the water's figured all that out. So guess what? Now it's time to mechanical dope.
That's crazy. I heard about it, but I didn't think it went to play.
Yeah.
Dave, before we wrap up, you always stress again nutrition, and so how are things going with you with your business? It's getting hot now. People don't want to cook. People say, "Look, I want something quick."
You know what, man? I had a check again early this morning. I think the vaccine that happened to us in terms of just kind of where to stay business wise was the pandemic in some respects. But I feel like we've also continued to grow the 30 meals, which was kind of interesting enough because I was a little concerned with the comeback post shelter in place. But it's been really good. We've seen rapid numbers, good sales, consistently. You've seen new clients, new customers, daily inquiries. So it's been good. I think people are definitely got the bit between their teeth. So looking at everything, working out. The sun's out, getting hot now. I perhaps got a few pounds when I want to get it off. How can I get it off? So it's been very good. The comeback has been good, man.
That's good. That's good. That's good. All right. Well, keep up the good work, Dave. And is there anything else you'd like to share with us that we did not ask?
I do want to say one thing. Actually, I want to express my genuine gratitude and thankfulness that I have been allowed to open. I appreciate that I'm fortunate enough to do what I do for a living. I make a living doing what I'm passionate about. And before we wrap this up, I did want to offer somebody out there who perhaps does not have access to a trainer and/or classes. I'm going to offer you a free, just for this week, redeem anybody this week. It's a free class. It's a free PT session with me. If they're listening, you'll have a listening to the sound of my voice. You need to get hold of me this week, and you can redeem a free session or a free class just because I want to give back and make sure I'm doing my part to help our people to stay active, man.
Okay, well done. So they can get on you by Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or at the office.
Any of the social media platforms, you can go on the website, fitforlifewear.com. You can go on to Instagram, fitforlifebda. You can go on to Facebook. You can send a courier pigeon. Just get a hold of me. That's what you can, and I'll take care of you. Yeah, this week, though, this week, a PT session or a free class, whatever's more convenient for that person.
All right, man. Well, that's a good offer. I hope those who are listening take this opportunity and see what it's all about. Dave will get you in shape.
So Dave, when you hear the sound of those pit-a-pat feet on the top of your building, right? You said courier pigeon, so somebody on the way, mate. On the way.
I want to, to make it hard for a person. I don't know what means for that. By any means necessary.
All right.
All right, mate. All right.
Yes.
You too. You take care. All right.
Yes, indeed.
Take care. All right. We'll take a commercial break and be back after this. And welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. I just want to thank Dave Wolf for giving us his insight on Fit for Life with Dave Wolf and Fit for Life Fitness from the nutrition side and, of course, his training aspects.
And don't forget to get in touch with him if you're looking for that free this week offer.
Session, follow the social media, Instagram, Facebook, his website, and so forth, and make it happen.
Well, and even if you're listening to us and you happen to be driving out of town, stop by.
His gym?
Yeah.
Oh, it's above the old Arnold's on Front Street?
Yeah.
The old Arnold's on Front Street
right.
As you're going out of town. 129 Front Street.
Yeah. Up the side of the building, and there's a door there. Go in. Don't forget.
Logo, Fit for Life.
Put on your mask.
Oh, yeah. That's that, and wash your hands and put all those things in place and take your temperature and so forth.
Definitely.
Well, joining us now is Mr. Rick Richardson, former CEO of Bermuda Broadcasting Company, who's going to give us an update on the competition that took place with the lockdown skills competition. It was Sean Goda, Mikey Wells, and Mr. Kyle Lightborn, and Mr. Rick Richardson, his production company. First of all, I want to congratulate Arsenal for making it to the semifinals of the FA Cup.
To start with, Mr. Rollins, listen, that's a bonus. Right now, Arsenal is trying to finish at least in the top half of the table. That's not to be down around 13th or something like that. I take my remarks because, we meet City in the next round, and City had beaten us by 3 or 4 clear goals each time. So,
I understand that, but I didn't try to be snide. I was just putting a fact out there, sir. Is that right?
No, actually, he was waiting for you to congratulate him on the air. That's all. That
No,
was the
no.
reason. The reason behind that remark was that so Mr. Rick Richardson can congratulate Mr. Rollins and Liverpool on the air. That's
No,
all it was.
he called me and did that.
No, 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 no. On the air.
No.
So, Mr. Richardson, can you please allow him to have his 2 minutes by you congratulating him on the air?
Well, I deliberately called him at home
He
so that
did.
I would avoid this public announcement. But listen, after 30 years in the making, I want to congratulate all, first of all, at the top, Ian Rollins, and all of the Liverpool fans, as it's been 30 years in the making, but superb job, actually. That doesn't quite match the Invincibles of the Arsenal era, but amazing,
Even
amazing.
undefeated. No,
Does that do, Mr. Rollins?
yeah, no, seriously, thank you very much. And I was just pulling your leg, but thank you
I
very
was
much.
not pulling your leg. I'm telling
I
you,
was humble. All right.
he's been asking
No,
everybody to. You got to do it publicly. You bash me publicly. You got to do it publicly. So you calling him on his phone. He said thank you, but I know deep down this one here means much more than that phone call you gave to him the day they won the league.
Mr. Richardson, you know me for all my life. I'm cool. I'm humble about it. I took it as thanking you. That's right. All right. I'm sorry for a few moments.
The top of the show proved all of that,
Oh yeah, I played.
cause
Ain't no stopping us
yeah,
now.
he
Yeah, I played it all day Friday in the office. I had it on repeat. Right. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah. So look, in all fairness, moving forward, the skills competition, lockdown skills competition. There's something that you guys have put together during the COVID-19. It's still in them, but now you've going to unveil some results tomorrow night on TV. Explain to us how did you guys come to the conclusion come to the conclusion for this big event for tomorrow night.
So yeah, I actually started my, I started to think about it when Katrina, Power Girl, they call her Power Girl, but they still call her Power Girl. Katrina and a group of folks on social media invited me to be a part of an island-wide kind of group thanking the essential workers. And when they finished editing and what have you, it turned out to be quite an exercise, and I thought it was really good. So I sat and thought, okay, there are other people who would like to be doing something positive around this time, and I thought, what if, I got with Sean Goda, because I was talking with him on other matters, and come up with a contest that I would kind of do the legwork on here. And he and a couple of colleagues, namely Naki Wells and Kyle Lightborn, would be judges. So I came up with a novel kind of title, the Lockdown Football Skills Contest. And strangely enough, when it got out here, we had all and sundry kind of sending in videos. Kyle has a sister who's in the States, and she put it into the Masters category. I didn't think we'd get many, but we got more than we thought. And we got about 40 entries on in other categories. I mean, we really had to leave some out. Some kids as young as 10 and 11 and younger were sending them in for the under 16. Uh, I'd like to just make note as it's on tomorrow evening. I believe that's right, Ian, at 8 o'clock on TV9.
Yeah, yes, that is correct. Tomorrow night at 8 o'clock on TV9, and rebroadcast again Thursday night 8 o'clock on TV9.
All right. I want folks to look out for the under 16 girls as a start. And we have them in that sort of order: under 16 girls, under 16 boys, senior men, masters, and like I said, under 16 girls. Uh, there's a young lady, I may know her. I had seen her, known her before, or seen football. Um, she has a double surname, Rosario Bean. Um, her first name will come to me at some point, but Rosario Bean, she was sitting down and juggling the ball, standing up with the ball trapped between her legs and not letting it touch the ground, on the head, spinning around. This kind of round the world type fit with Earl reminded me of you when you were playing center back, trying all these things. Coaches were shouting, "No, Earl, not now!" So this girl, I mean, Kyle Lightborn and guys said, they make a comment in there that she would have given the boys a run for their money if she was included in those areas. Also, from overseas, few, but there was a young girl from the Azores, and she is out on her patio doing things as calm as ever. I think she's attending university or high school in the United States, and has an option to play for the Portugal national team, or the U.S. So one of the people also to look out for, a couple of you guys would remember um, Shaq, Meshach Wade.
Yeah.
He has a son, and his son was involved in a horrific accident on the middle road by T Street, I believe. About a year ago, maybe. Well, time goes by so fast. Could be a little over a year ago. And head-on collision, and he was pursuing playing and coaching in the UK. He had a promising career going, and had his leg amputated, his right leg.
That's right, yeah.
Don't know whether he was right-footed or left-footed, but he enters this, and we're going to probably do a special award with him. We don't say it on the tape, but the coaches make mention. He is sitting down, throws the ball up and starts juggling it with one foot, and our ball moves all over the place. And he's in a chair, and he's got his dog, I reckon, who's just trying to follow the ball and is getting in the way of his leg, but he keeps the ball up for the required time, more than 30 seconds. And that just goes to show you, first of all, his determination to get back. So this competition just revealed and brought out a lot of things. Um, Desmond Crockwell, of who is championing the cause of at-risk young men, in particular, young people in general. He entered just for the sake of entering the Masters division. I remember Des playing a little football, but he does quite well, juggling the ball. There is a guy who reckon a lot in the judging, but he juggles the tennis ball. So it's just some guys, footballers that I know from Rangers. Ryan Balboa, he has a youngster. I think he's in the under 16 group, and looks better than his dad did. Has amazing control. So there's a lot to look out for in this short program.
Rick, to put something like this together, I mean, obviously you didn't have much time. Obviously the response has been overwhelming. Um, what you're saying here is it's surprising me from the descriptions and the things that we need to look for tonight. Once this is aired tonight and rebroadcast Thursday tonight, where do you think this program's going to go forward? Because as you know, Believers, we like to see more.
Well, I can tell you this. We said it in a kind of a joke, but Sean wants to expand it and do a similar competition in Manchester, and we would take some of the Bermuda talent, and he may jig it a bit so that we want the same video and enter it in, just like people from the Azores and out of the UK entered ours because they saw it online. Sean and everybody else, I mean, shoot, the world is connected right now. Social media. So he wants to do the competition there. Now, Sean has, he tells me, 45,000 people regularly on his Instagram. So now he wants to do it there. Um, I didn't put it in the actual program, but before we kicked off here, he spoke to Man City about it.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, man, this is amazing. They wanted to do the competition there ahead of us because they got all the resources in place and all the people.
Right.
But they ended up by putting together something that we could use in a promo that we used once, I believe, with some of their present players and their ex-players juggling the ball and pretending to pass it to each other at a different location. So it tended to be quite a hit locally. What we would probably do, we can discuss further because we like to collaborate, is to do something, perhaps tweak it and do something locally that, as Kyle says, would bring out more of our players and get them to do some daring things. I mean, Kyle's always telling our players when they come up against some formidable foes, be brave, and let's exhibit our skills. So he saw and Naki saw quite a bit in the things that we were able to gather. So it has some potential, but we'll show first, and then we'll probably put it on Facebook, uh, and then look forward to some input in the future. You will see some interviews, some comments from Kyle, Naki, and Goda that we did by Zoom, and they were quite taken up with it. I think they were surprised, particularly by the girls.
Right.
So I guess talking to Vance Brown and folks, it shows you where the game is going locally and how the girls have come into their own in this game, not just across U.S. and Canada and what have we. So there's some excitement there.
The young lady you were talking about is Catherine Bean Rosario.
And man, so good. And all of the guys, they showed it in Manchester also. He was showing it to city people and also probably like a little bit. I think a number of our players surprised some of the pros I did because you guys would be really strong equally doing stuff with Sky, and so he walks around with his phone and shows them. And caught the eye. Jackson, wow. And they all tried it, sitting down, trying to juggle a ball, having only one leg to balance and work around the chair, and they all failed. So you hear Sean, Naki, and Kyle comment on that. And I haven't seen my friend Shaq not lately, but just a shout out to him via this, that his son has amazing resilience and perseverance, and that points up Mika himself. He was a terrorist.
Okay, well, there's definitely something to look forward to tonight. Tomorrow night, excuse me, tomorrow night at 8 o'clock on ZBM TV 9. And promos will be running on TV today and then tomorrow, and again on Wednesday for the rebroadcast on this event. This is something that's really exciting. And you guys did a pretty good job. Looks really good.
Yeah, really appreciate good. That is my time. And spend your time. And I say spend every time. Never retire. Yeah. So, do I have to thank him and congratulate him anymore on this, or is that sufficient?
Listen, that one time he will remind you of this date, and it's probably even time stamped. So don't worry. You can just say goodbye.
Not a problem. Thank you very much. And again, we look forward to tomorrow night again on ZBM TV 9 at 8 o'clock.
Thanks, man.
All right.
Take care.
Take care. All right. You're funny, Earl. You're real funny. Let's take a commercial break and we come back to speak with C on the bar. And welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. On the phones now is C on the bar. Good afternoon to you, ma'am. I'm fine, thanks. And we're catching up on some jump rope, right?
With the Devon Wade over at Summersfield Academy, and we are putting on a collective sports camp. So for anybody whose child is running them tired or crazy or flipping off of everything, we have some energy to burn here at Sports Camp.
Before we go down that road, how were you able to encourage the young ones to burn that energy of the last 3 months?
Yeah, so it's been a challenge. COVID sort of took everybody by surprise, and everybody was cooped up, and we've had a lot of sedentary youth. But with our jump program, we managed to continue our Zoom sessions, and we've had our kids jumping and doing a lot of their conditioning throughout. So I'm really excited that we held a couple of Jump to Be Fit sessions with the Paget group, the Paget primary jumpers and the West End primary jumpers. Shout out to them because they did an amazing job in staying active during our quarantine time. And once we were able to get outside, a very big shout out to the tennis stadiums down there at Bernards Park. They allowed us use their practice area or their courts, and we were able to get some open air sessions for the team. Unfortunately, all of our summer global competitions have been canceled, like everything else in the world. So we have been jumping this summer and sweating in this insane heat, but we have been keeping the kids active, and it's good to get them out of the house, and it's good to get them in the fresh air and just get them active because a lot of them have been a bit more sedentary, and we want to try and push past that and not get them used to the idea of becoming couch potatoes.
For the camp, what are the number restrictions that you have, and how do you plan to ensure that all the rules of social distancing and the like are going to be maintained?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we are adhering to all government standards for phase three until Wednesday, and then we adapt to the phase four. But for right now, we have a cap of 40 kids, and they are broken into smaller age groupings, and we're very beneficial. We've benefited by partnering here at Summersfield because we have multiple spaces that we utilize. So we have the large gym, we have their common room, and we have the outside field. We are not on any of the playground equipment because we cannot sanitize all of that on a regular basis. So we're not touching the playground, but we have the field. We have a classroom, a computer room for the afternoon when we cap it and have kids with masks in there, but throughout the day when they are active, they're not wearing masks as we are allowed by government. And they are having a ball. We're at capacity this week, but we are running for 6 weeks. So and there are still spots available for weeks later on in the summer. And the kids are seeing today as our first day, and we have had resounding success. We have a bunch of smelly, tired kids out here in the gymnasium, and it's a beautiful thing to see. It's a mix of kids from all across the island, and what we're really just trying to see is to get them to sweat it out. And again, this is not just a jump rope camp. So we've had football tournaments. We're not playing any basketball or volleyball or anything with a shared ball right now that has hand usage. We're waiting until phase 4 to come into effect. And we're also sanitizing behind ourselves with every single piece of equipment. After every single activity, the kids have to go and wash their hands. When they arrive and depart, all guardians and kids must use masks to come in and off the property. And when they attend in the morning, they have to be accompanied by a guardian in order for them to get checked in because they have to have their temperature taken. And if their temperature reads over 100 Fahrenheit or more, they're not even allowed in the building. So we are trying to take as many precautions as we possibly can to adhere to the government standards for the COVID rules. And we are going to continue to follow on as we go into phase 4 on Wednesday.
We know that all the events for jump rope in 2020 have been canceled. Has there been any talk of having extra international competitions or regional competitions just to allow people that extra time or another event that they can possibly go to for 2021?
Yes, there have been talks about it, but if I'm being very honest, I'm not too comfortable with taking our Bermudian youth overseas yet, and it would be in North America at this point, and right now they don't have, they aren't making the progress that we would feel comfortable even for 2021 being going to even a regional competition, if I'm being honest. So what is very good to know is that we're looking to step back and we're looking to be possibly on island for all of 2021. But we're really excited about that because we get to step back and build some of our skill sets. Um, So this summer, I'm really excited to announce that through the New Sports Camp and Jump to Be Fit, we are starting a program called Bernie Acro. And what that is a lot of the things you see the kids doing with jump rope, jumping onto their hands and handstands, their somersaults, their flips, and a lot of those different things. There are there are gymnastics gyms on island, yes, but they are focusing on the entire sport of gymnastics. And what we are looking to do is if you have a kid at home that just wants to learn how to flip, no bars, no beams, no anything like that. But if they just want to learn how to flip, if they are doing somersaults, if they are doing handstands onto your couch constantly, we are taking the time back away from preparing kids for competition to start building the foundation of a very big part of the sport of jump rope, which is our acrobatics. And we found that a lot of kids just like to flip, right? I mean, as a kid, you just wanted to learn how to do a backflip, a front flip, you want to flip off the docks and all of those things. And you know our Bermudians do that stuff anyway. So we are offering sessions at Summerfield from 5:45 until 7 p.m. for $10 a session. And that is for anybody. You do not have to be part of the camp. If you have taken a Jump to Be Fit course, if you've seen it, if you're not even interested in jump rope, but you just want to learn how to flip properly or do a really cool handstand, even for adults, so a lot of those CrossFitters who are working on their handstands, we have a phenomenal coach with us. Her name is Coach Caitlin. She is one of the only Bermudians on island who is a recognized gymnastics coach. So that is coming under the Bermuda Sports Camp, and that's going to be offered on Mondays and Fridays. And again, that's a separate cost. It's only $10. So if you have children that aren't signed up for camp later on in the summer, we have spots available. And if you have somebody that just wants to learn how to flip, or they're driving you flipping crazy, pun intended, they can find us here at Summerfield.
Wow. So you got a lot going on in Summerfield this summer.
Yeah, we're trying to stay consolidated because we have the space, we have sanitized it in a way that meets all the school's criteria and the government criteria. Um, so we are trying to utilize the space in the best and safest way possible. So camp is here until 5:30 every day, and then on Mondays and Fridays we have the acro classes, the learning to flip classes for $10.
Now, if someone was getting in contact with you, you have social media, website, phone number?
So you can find all of the acro information under Jump Rope Bermuda on Facebook, or you can, for the camp or acro, you can contact myself, and that is at 747-7714. Once again, my name is Coach C, and I will be working with Coach Caitlin this summer because a lot of the gymnasts on Island know her, and my number is 747-7714. So if you have any kids that want to learn how to flip, or they're learning to do somersaults, or you have gymnasts who are looking to just enhance their tumbling, we are working down at Summerfield. And yeah, we're gonna keep it on island and just work on our foundation because we're not too comfortable yet with the idea of taking Bermudian youth overseas.
Okay, understood. Thank you very much. Is there anything you'd like to add that we did not ask?
I'm not sure. I just rattled off a whole lot. Yeah, nope. There are spots still available for later on in the summer. Please give us a call or find our information on Jump Rope Bermuda for Bermuda Sports Camp. And again, flipping classes are on Mondays and Fridays from 5:45 to 7 here at Summerfield Academy Junior Weekend.
Okay, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Not a problem. Okay, you too. Take care. We'll take a commercial break and we'll be back after that. And welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Wow, time flies. Got another minute before we wrap up. Any final comments? And welcome back to Earl Bays in the studio.
Well, it's been a good afternoon. Enjoyed the time in studio, in person. It's been a while.
Been a while, yeah.
But it's good. It's good to have, the guests that we've had today and give some information or gain some information from what's been going on and what will go on in the very near future. So yeah, it's been good.
Definitely. Who's winning cup match?
St. George's.
Here you go. What year?
2021.
You said it first.
That's right.
And who won the Premier League title?
North Village Rams.
English Premier, and
you didn't say that.
I was about to say it. I was about to say you're absolutely correct. That's why. And congratulations to North Village Rams.
Mm-hmm.
Right. English Premier League title.
Anytime to thank our guests and get cracking. Because I think Mr. Richardson, yeah. Liverpool.
I'm just asking.
Liverpool. I'll give you the answer because I'll give you Liverpool. Liverpool won the English Premier League.
All right, cool.
Yes.
I want to thank our guests, Mr. Greg Tyrrell, Kamal Evans, Dave Wolf, Rick Richardson, and Sierra Barton. We'll be back next week, Monday, at the same time, 1:15.
There you go.
on the Inside Sports Talk Radio, Paul 95. Thank you very much, Mr. Don Bassett.
Brother Don.
All right.
Been good.
Ain't no stopping us now.
That's right.
There you go.